Well, so this is my first time, but Fern's been on here for
Yeah.
years and years and years.
Yeah, we are live.
I saw it. Good evening.
Yeah, good. All right, so I'd like to call to order this council meeting of December 10, 2019. Please join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Our first item on tonight's agenda is the inauguration of elected officials. We began with the reading of the results of the balloting as follows. There were 1,093 municipal ballots cast on November the 5th, and the following candidates were elected into office. For council, 3 members, Donald Fellows with 650 votes, Mark Lunt with 651 votes, and Jeffrey Ganong with 606 votes. For school committee, 2 members, Tracy Joe Austin with 654 votes, Kelly Rogers with 793 votes, and for Water Commission, James Lemieux with 856 votes. Tonight, we'd like to swear in the 3 councilors. Would Donald Fellows, Mark Lunt, and Jeffrey Ganong please join me at the lectern? So I'll have you over here. Since you have to raise your right hand, you'll have to hold that in your left. Okay. Repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
and will obey the laws
and will obey the laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state of Maine,
and of the state of Maine,
that I will,
that I will,
in all respects,
in all respects,
observe the provisions
observe the provisions
of the Charter
of the Charter
and ordinances
and ordinances
of the town of Lisbon,
of the town of Lisbon,
and will faithfully
and will faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office
of the office
town councilor.
of town councilor.
Congratulations, and please sign your certificates before you seat. Thank you, and they're right at the podium. Yes, I'll finish that later. Yep. Oh, yeah. The next order of business is Order 2019-220, the election of chairman, and the nominations are open. Are there any nominations?
I make a nomination for Alan Ward for chair.
I will second that.
Any other nominations?
Move the nomination cease.
Is seconded? Any second to ceasing nominations?
I don't think I'm going to do that, do you?
I second.
Okay. All those in favor of ceasing nominations? Vote 6-0. 7-0. All right.
Hey, no,
We
it's all
finally
right,
have a full
Twyla.
council.
Yeah, I was going to say, you haven't had a full council for a few months. Nobody's
few
going to fault you
months.
there.
A lot of practice. So we only have one nomination. So seeing that there is only one nomination, all those in favor, raise your hand for Alan Ward for chair. And the vote passed 7-0. And none opposed. So congratulations.
Sir?
Abstain. You see that?
I know. Oh, that was quick. I didn't see that. 6-0-1.
No, I didn't. I voted yes.
You did?
I voted yes. It's all good.
All right. And the next order of business is the election of vice chairman. Do we have any nominations for vice chairman?
I make a nomination for Mr. Norman Albert.
I nominate Fern Lershell.
Wow.
Are there any other nominations? We have 2 nominations.
Let's make it a
Yes, sir.
three-way seat. I'll nominate Cassie.
Okay. Any other nominations?
You did a fine job.
So you have a paper in front of you. At this point, I'll have you vote, and we'll count those.
Vote for 3.
Vote for one.
Oh, no, rank choice?
Yeah. That's perfect.
Who we got? Right there.
Thank you. It was kind of you. Thank you. That was kind of you.
It's hard to let you off the your side easy.
Kind of figured that was it.
We have one vote for Fern, one for Norm, two for Norm.
It feels like Survivor now.
Yeah. Fern,
All right.
one for Norm. Now we have 3 and 2. One for Cassie. And one for Fern. So you have 3 for Fern and 3 for Norm.
Tie.
Cassie.
Second round.
I guess you need a ranked choice. I'll actually just let Norm do it. It's okay. No, it's either way. Wouldn't it?
Want to try that again?
Doesn't
We
matter.
have another piece of paper.
Rock, scissors, paper, shoot.
Right.
Ready?
So you have only Fern and you only have Norm.
Okay.
Another piece of paper.
This time it will work.
Here, I'll slow you. Mark, here you go, buddy.
I don't believe I've ever seen this before.
You're used to it. It's a new council.
That's right.
Opportunities unlimited.
Sorry, had a party time.
Confusing because I had different names. I thought you would put that one under here. I was like, where is that one?
I figured I could take it.
That would have been funny. She would pull
This is
that
the least caustic thing we do this year. Good, right?
Yeah.
up. Right.
One for Fern,
We're off to a good start.
one for Norm,
That's me.
one for Norm,
It's me too.
one more for Norm,
Time for both.
one more for Norm,
Okay,
one
that's
for Fern, and one more for Fern. So you have 4 votes for Norm and 3 for Fern. Norm,
Sir, thank you all.
Vice Chair.
Old man Albert wins.
That's right. I'll try to stay off the ice.
So congratulations is in order, and thank you for attending the inauguration portion of our meeting. I think we're probably not going to recess. We're just going to go right on, right?
Sounds like a plan.
All right. And so you can switch seats for those who are switching.
So that means I don't have to do this.
Sorry.
That's right.
Good nice seeing you.
Hey, good seeing you. Actually, yeah, it doesn't matter where I go. I'm taking this.
So it just means you're further away from me. I don't have to
I
hit
go back
you
to my
anymore.
own. Go back to my own.
Still throw things at it.
That's right. I missed the seat.
Wait, which side wouldn't you be able to see me on?
I can see you fine.
I liked it because that way if they threw stuff, it usually was going to hit those guys when I was out there. Line of fire.
Just need one more minute.
Oh,
So we
excuse
return
me.
our podium.
Well, you can. Just
That's what we forgot. We were trying to come through with everything that's happened since the last meeting.
good in that seat.
It's taller than that one for some reason.
So you want to begin with roll call?
Please.
Counselor Albert.
Here.
Counselor Fallows.
Here.
Counselor Ganong.
Here.
Counselor Kobe.
Here.
Counselor LaRochelle.
Here.
Counselor Lunt.
Here.
Counselor Ward.
Here. Next item, Twyla.
Good news and recognition.
It's been a busy month. Who wants to go first?
I'll start with congratulating the Lisbon football team for their Class D state championship win over Bucksport. They did a fantastic job, and go Hounds.
Who else?
I will.
Please.
Mary Main Street this past weekend. I want to thank everybody from the town that actually participated, from the Public Works to the Police Department. Don Fellows actually came through and actually helped us with the bus to go bring people back and forth because it was a little bit cool that evening. But it was a great event, so I want to thank all the businesses that participated and all the people that came out. It was it's kind of neat to see our Main Street actually get pretty busy for night, and it was actually a fun event. So thank you for everybody that participated.
I want to take a moment just to recognize again Councilor Burnell as he rode off into the sunset, and it was fun to be able to to go over to Frank's and see him off and thank him for his 6 years of service.
Anybody else? Next item, Twyla.
I believe that's sitting right beside you.
That's where I figured we'd land. You want to do the reading?
Sure, I will.
We have Mr. Moore, front and center.
Thank you for coming. So, Harry Moore, the council has invited you tonight because they wanted to tell you that they wanted to give you a certificate of appreciation for the 40 years of service. This is awarded to Harry Moore, serving first as a police officer and ending as a sergeant. It is praiseworthy to note your additional service in the U.S. Navy, creating an entire life of commendable public service. So thank you very much. So we'd like those in the audience to come up and have a picture taken with
Appreciate it.
Sergeant Moore.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you as well.
Sorry you had to chase me on the front end of that.
Thank you, Harry.
So, Mark, yeah,
Yeah, that's a great time.
we'd love to have a picture of you, Harry, with your colleagues. Anyone else? Yep, let's all join us.
Group photo.
Awesome. Councilor Ward, would you like to join us?
No, I'm not in that crowd. Just put them down.
I don't want to take it for the rest of my life.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much. Yeah, right.
What a good idea.
What happened here? Well, that went to shit.
Very cool.
Oh, here we go.
Thank you. Yes, I was going to do that at the end. I didn't want to steal his thunder.
Exactly. I wasn't sure if it was going to come ahead.
Next item, Twyla.
All right, so we can move on. There are no public hearings. Is the audience participation and response for agenda items?
Anybody wishing to actually speak on behalf of this, anything on the agenda, please step forward. Anything on the agenda that brought you here tonight? Seeing no movement in the room, I'll close the public hearing, Twyla.
Okay.
I'm a little rusty. I sat over there for a while.
Okay. The next item is the consent agenda. Anyone wishing to remove an item may do so now. Seeing none. Order 2019-222 to approve the municipal payroll, accounts payable and payroll warrants, number 191121 for $195,148.89. Number 19111 W2 for $18,334.32. Number 1912W1 for $17,726.90. Number 191205 for $189,816.26. Number 123219 for $144,657.07. Number 124209 for $9,537.09. Number 12102019 for $207,217.99. The school payroll, payable and payroll warrants. 1031 for $365,182.56. Number 1032 for $13,199.21. Number 17 for $40.63. Number 2009 for $83,661.52. And the minutes of November 19th, 2019, set a public hearing on December 17th for the special entertainment permit for the Coons Mountford American Legion Post 158. Set a public hearing on the 17th of December for special entertainment permit for the Slovak Catholic Association, and to set public hearings on December 17th for the junkyard permits for Campbell's Used Auto Parts and Houston's Auto Salvage.
I make that motion.
I need a second. I have first, I have a second. All in favor?
Order passed 7-0.
Next item, Twyla.
Council orders, resolutions, and ordinances. Order 2019-224, the policy on treasurer's disbursement warrants for municipal employee wages, benefits, and state fees.
We have to do this annually, and then the only change to the policy is adding the 2 new counselors. And what this allows you to do is on municipal warrants for employees' wages and benefits and certain state fees, we can get just 1 council signature. You don't have to have a majority. And the same thing on the school warrants for employees' wages and benefits. By having this policy in place, I only need 1 council signature rather than the majority. And in order to do that, you have to have policies in place, so that's what we're doing tonight.
Either of the 2 new faces have any questions on the policy? We've been using it for the last 3 years, I think it is. It actually makes it a lot easier to get it and less of a concern with short holiday weeks, vacation schedules, and everything during the summer months. Business seems to flow much better.
Yes.
I make a motion. Can we approve both orders in one, since they're both described at the same time, or do we need to do separate ones, Twyla?
Yeah, you can do it at once. So it would be both Order 224 and 225. 225 is the policy on treasurer's disbursement warrants for school employee wages and benefits, correct? That's
Yep,
your
since
motion?
it's actually the same discussion, I would make a motion that we pass both.
I'll second that motion.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Order passed 7-0.
Next item, Twyla.
Is Order 2019-226 for council working rules.
You've seen the rules. They're in your packet. They're also, for the listening public up there, available with the agenda. We had the benefit of Councilor Garrison, I want to say it was like 4 or 5 years ago. We made 1 revision last year for excused absences of the council, voting on it. So if you guys have anything, same as normal, just let myself know, let Diane know, let Twyla know that you can't make it, and that way at least it makes the official record accordingly for an excused absence. Any questions or considerations that anybody might have on content?
If I may, Chair, I know
Yep.
Mr. Fellows actually had mentioned that he has a couple of things he wanted to look
Sure.
at. Just bring
You want-
for
you want-
council, so.
Well, actually, I noticed a couple disparities. I was looking through it. There's a deadline disparity. One says Wednesday, one says Thursday. And I think that Wednesday came from when we used to be closed on Friday here.
Yes.
And council agenda, the agenda that's printed here refers to audience participation for non-agenda items, I think is the way it's worded.
Yep.
However, in the agenda that's listed in the working rules, it talks about new business at the time when which it says is the time for audience participation. That I think it should be worded they should be worded the same.
Consistency? Correct.
So I'm wondering whether we ought to just do a little writing and then bring it up again.
I would applaud your effort associated with that. If you've seen those, identifying the sections to be able to bring it forward at the following, or we could, if you knew the specifics there, we could entertain it tonight. Either way.
It's just cleanup. Sounds to me like we're talking about just cleanup.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we can make.
Do you know the specific section, Mr. Paul?
Personally, I'd rather just go do some wording and then present it.
Then,
And if you like it-
I didn't want to.
No,
I didn't want to slow your roll, depending on which way you wanted to play it. If you prefer to do that, then
I don't mind following Mr. Garrison for the little
Right.
minor stuff.
yeah. So that said, why don't you? Is next meeting sufficient to be able to make those revisions, knowing that it's
That's only a week.
Also,
a week?
Could we make it
there's no
the following?
there's no
week?
requirements. Whatever
They
we
can be changed at any point, so.
right. That's where I would land. What I would actually say is the fact is, if anything else, the motion would be that the working rules of the council would be in effect until we update them.
Okay.
And it really doesn't sound like there'd be any changing of the
Right.
rules, just more the
This-
cleaning up of the written
Existing.
policy, but-
Yep. January 7 would be our first meeting in 2020, and we could just use that as a
So
target.
shoot for
That'd be,
January.
I'm thinking I have something for Diane to put on the agenda by then, easily.
Perfect.
Okay, good.
No motion, well, let's postpone that for the 7th. Table.
So we'll move that agenda item to the 7th.
Thank you.
Okay.
Next.
Next item is other business, council committee reports.
Let's start with school.
Nothing new. No new news. That's good news.
Planning, I'm sorry. I'd have to defer to you.
I know there's a meeting Thursday. We looked, the last work that's been done on it was accessory dwelling units, and
That's what I remember,
that's still in
too.
discussion and hasn't gone very far.
Okay.
I think that's what I remember.
I thought that's where we landed as well. I announced the chair and the vice chair.
Yeah.
That was the last meeting.
Right.
LDC.
Not a whole lot's changed. I know that we potentially got some information from Ben that he's actually going to be presenting maybe in Diane in a week or two as far as maybe his rough draft as far as what he...
By the end of the week, I think,
Yes.
he sent out an email today.
So I think once we get that, then we'll probably actually entertain a meeting after so we can actually review those. So stay posted. Any information come forward, we will do it. Question as far as these, are we going to review these once we go through the committee representatives to actually give us...
Yeah, one of the things that it's council committee assignments, I think that we want to actually land where people want to land for the new liaisons. The fact is we've got people coming from a variety of different backgrounds. I use the example, I feel I met the needs of the planning board, but if you're in agreement, I think you're much more suited to that function if that was where you wanted to land. But I don't want to presuppose, because you could just as equally go water, school, whatever. We kind of sort that out that way. So I don't disagree.
Well, okay, well, you're asking me what I'd like.
No, I was just using it as an example. To Fern's point, we have these here, but as soon as the January meetings, I'm hopeful to have where we settle for next year's liaisons to be able to recast the way that these play out for the reports. Is all I was looking
So
at.
when do you want to?
For the sake of discussion, in the packet was the list of council liaisons assignments at present. If anybody has any particular interest, please let us know. You guys, everybody here has the town email. Send an email out what you're actually interested in, and then we can start fleshing this out as soon as next meeting. I would like to see it on next meeting's agenda for a follow-up discussion, and hopefully by the 7th we can have it finalized. Does that make sense?
So just email you with what we.
Yeah, and I would say just the group, just to tell me what you're thinking.
Okay.
You know, because I don't know if Norm wants to land in school again. I don't know if Fern would be wanting to stay on as LDC. I don't want to speak for one person. I think our strength has always been the 7 of us combined. So you see the list, what you have for an interest, and then we can flesh out, hopefully, starting next meeting. We haven't had of recent a water liaison, so I know that's an active need.
Just
So
for the record.
I happen to see you in the audience there, my
For
friend.
the record, Mr. Chair, I'd like to do that.
Perfect.
As well as planning board.
Perfect.
Sign you right up tonight, Don. What
You're in
don't you want to do?
You're in the
No,
van.
no, no.
You're in the
Now I
van,
can
man.
shut
We're
up.
selling roses at the airport.
You're going to be a short meeting.
Yes. No, that's
good.
great.
That's
And
awesome.
The point I'm making there is the fact that, and we've always embraced it. If you look at some of these additional liaisons, the fact is if you've got an interest in recreation or school facilities, those type of things, doubling up actually helps. The more people that hear it here helps us make it a priority for what is coming out of the individual committees. New this year is the Finance Committee. Needing a liaison for those kind of roles as well, too.
And it doesn't mean that just if I may, Chair, if it doesn't mean if you're not the direct representative, doesn't mean that you can't participate in the meetings
all.
and actually be.
No, we've never
part of
excluded
it.
anybody.
I went to a rec
Absolutely
meeting
not.
last night, and I'm just the backup. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, more the merrier, typically. So. Sorry, I didn't mean.
No,
to
no,
interrupt
that's
you, so-
you guys have heard it for the last couple of years. The fact is that is what we're all about. Our strength here is 7. And the fact that I'm an advocate for it. I believe in it, and frankly, there is more things going on than any one of us can be involved in. They quickly get a saturation point. Conservation. Were you done?
I'm done, absolutely.
Okay, I'm just making sure. Conservation, they aren't meeting in December. What I did hear from Vice Chair today was that Mr. Siemens is actually putting a plan together for enforcement of invasive species. They're hoping to address that in their first meeting in January. Recreation.
No, that's fine. So they started to work up their budget, just open discussions on that, and they talked about some restructuring of departments. So they have some exciting propositions that they're starting to flesh out right now. I'll be excited to see what they bring to us in the start of the budget cycle.
Perfect. County is nothing in that regard. Final tax bill and that type of stuff's flushing through, so we'll have that for our budget, but nothing new there. Library, sir.
Anita just retired at the library after a long period of service
Long
there,
time.
and she's going to be missed at the library, but we have to advertise for a new person to fill her shoes. Good opportunity for somebody if you're looking for somebody to step up to.
Do you know how long service?
I don't know exactly how many years. Do you know, Diane?
I don't remember.
She was there a long time.
Shoot, I just saw the Facebook post, too.
Yeah, no, I was
Yeah.
trying to.
I'm trying to remember the
recall,
years
and I
on the
couldn't
wall.
recall. It's all right.
Was it 18? Does that sound right?
Yeah, could be.
Thinking there might be an opportunity there.
Council goals or achievements? You prepared to speak on that one? I know I'm not sitting this.
Yeah, so I'm going to say let's go ahead and hold that out for the next week's meeting.
Okay.
Gives you plenty of
Does
time.
that mean making me? Did you see what he did there, folks? Wow.
No, yeah, hey,
That
not my
was-
first rodeo.
I
No,
like
I'll
that.
gladly speak on some of that too.
Right on.
Yeah, it doesn't say.
That was
You asked him.
I know. I opened that up to myself. That's one thing about us wards. We're not that bright. Council goals. This is the time of year we try to flesh out what we would like to do for the coming session. It's a very, I know what I'm thinking sitting here kind of approach. I'd like that be the collection of what everybody's sitting here to make it more well-rounded. I'll throw, for an example, one of the things that I think needs to be addressed is we have a manager who has a contract that's up at the end of the year. It ought to be on our list as to where giving her feedback associated with what we intend to do on that. Likewise, I know that our Cassie's actually been working on the information for evaluation because we missed one last year, primarily because it's been the role of the vice chair here, and with the absence associated with the vice chair, we kind of lost the wind, and by the time we recovered, the year kind of got away from us. Cassie would like to get that out there. Why don't you speak on that just a little bit? Could you?
In process?
It's in the process. It will hopefully be out within the week. So.
Yeah, no, I think that what we saw is just a matter of finalizing from all of us so we can get it out. That's
Right. And the intent, that was just one example. What are you guys thinking here? Because collectively that makes it the better approach for what we're looking at. Key things that you'll see, the reintroducing of a finance committee and some of the other dialogues that we actually got into in the past session, they start here with what we actually come up with, and so we can start running with them January. And it is a group thought kind of thing to be able to have everybody's input.
May I, Chair?
Please.
The couple things I mentioned even earlier, Chair, that I'd like to see is in the next couple of meetings, if we could actually get these guys worked in, the idea of having workshops, right, coming up quick. Two things I'd like to see is, in order, which it really doesn't make a difference, would be the idea of if Diane can actually have Dan come in for a night prior to a meeting and maybe do like an hour session, the idea of just working rules and guidelines for the council. I mean, I think for the new council, councilors would be great, and for us, it would be a good refresher, just a proper protocol and we had some, just some situations come up over the last couple of years that actually I think a lot of it's just not for the, just not having the right knowledge of where we need to go and what we need to do. So I think that'd be great. And actually, as far as for the goals, I think I'd rather sit in like a workshop prior to the meeting for an hour and actually just kind of bounce goals back and forth. That way there, it's not in, I'm not saying that it shouldn't be in this type of setting, but I think the idea is just, because I think a lot of us have the same type of goals, we just come across it a little different way, so we can kind of, really kind of come together as a council and set some goals that we can actually try to achieve. I know we actually, Norm won't have to go very far to find out things that we did this year. I think that as a council that we actually set forth and we're actually able to achieve them. I just think we just need to actually have a cohesive type of process where we're all thinking together and kind of working the goals and not actually set something that's not achievable. So again, that's a couple of workshops prior to meetings, and it's just a warm up for the budget season, right? So, but again, I would think, Diane, you think Dan would come in prior to one of our meetings for like an hour? We would start like at 6 and go to it, if that's what the council would like to do. I'm not sure if that's easier than a different night or whatever, but.
Yeah, I'll contact him tomorrow and see when he's available.
Yeah.
Probably wait till January.
Yeah, and maybe, with that being said, it would just be nice if Dan can actually review some of the, issues that he can see the council that's have done previously and what, we really need to work on as a council to make sure that we're all working together and not working apart. That's all. Does that make sense?
So that said, can you see if anybody opposed to actually the January 7th, that first meeting, actually seeing if Dan would be available? It seems the most obvious.
Makes perfect sense to me.
And then if we have time that night, roll directly from Dan into discussion of goals. And if it doesn't, I would advocate that the 21st meeting be the same. We do goals then. That work to be able to set it. Its intent is anybody that sat here, anybody that sat there actually listening to us through the budget deliberations, they're going to be soon upon us, and then that's the focus for the 3 months that we're running through that process. Anything that we want to get initiated or at least heard has a very narrow window to have any traction to it before time takes us away, and next thing you know, we're looking at summer.
With that being said, can I add one other
Please.
opportunity? I always felt that our goals ought to be what the committees and stuff are really trying to strive for too. So maybe we can actually request, Diane, the committees to. I'm not sure if they'll have an opportunity before our meeting that night. If you're talking the third week in January, if we could actually maybe get an idea what their goals are for the upcoming year. I would just think that council goals really need to reflect what the committees are trying to do also. So. That may be too short of a window, I don't know, but at least it'd be something to ask and see if we can find out if there's any particular
It's the third year.
items, they're
I
looking
mean,
to do.
in frankness on that's the third year that we've asked for goals from the departments and that, so they should be at least already thinking of them, because I know last year was the first year we asked for updates to be able to continue that. So I would be willing to lax to say the 21st would be the meeting that we actually focus on goals and allow for that 1 hour with Dan.
Okay.
But I would like to see by the 7th the department goals, so it gives us 2 weeks to be able to kind of flush that out for what we're seeing to make that a better discussion.
Mr. Chair, if I
Yes.
may. So I definitely echo that for the 21st as far as giving the committees an opportunity. I think that they, like you had mentioned, they all have a clear understanding of what we've been trying to accomplish over these last couple of years with getting your goals in advance, getting them ready to roll, having a first pass vetted by the town manager, so that when we do come together at the budget meetings, we're already kind of ahead of the game versus line by lining it, and we're getting into the areas that are more open for discussion. So that being said, we should come in with a clear understanding of what it is that we want to do as a council from a 10,000-foot view, and then that'll trickle down from there. And that, what I mean by that is, if we're talking about spending changes or thought philosophies on how we want to attack the budget this year, I think that that's something that will help them in their efforts to understand where we're thinking as we go into 20, what we want to do and how we want to do it, so that then when they come out with their ideas, they realize that it sort of aligns with some of the philosophies we're already talking about.
Does anybody have any will to set the tone on that for first item for consideration? I know I don't right now. That's why I was asking that question. Do you have an example to be able to set with that, Mr. Albert?
Nothing that, a couple of things I'm spitballing, but I don't want to really kind of commit to them until I know where we're at, as take the temperature of everyone involved and see what our thoughts are as a collective. I could spew a bunch of
Okay,
things all day long.
why don't we,
And I think my initial thought is not so much even budget-oriented. It's just more the idea of, the heartbeat of our committees is the idea of making them feel that they're actually being productive. So if they actually have a goal that they're shooting for, that we can actually help support it. And that may not even be a financial type of concern. It may be more the idea of whether or not a department is actually looking to do some restructuring and be smarter, or the idea of, it could be a million different things, but just to get an idea what they're thinking about.
And that's exactly where I was going with the leaning out of process and looking at what they're doing and taking a different approach of this isn't the way that we've always done it, or if it's the way we've always done it, start asking the whys. Why do we do it this way? And how does that, how can we do it differently and let it out a little bit? So it's more along those. I think we do a great job every year making the best of what we have, but there's always an opportunity for efficiencies. And the people that are closest to the workflows sometimes are the ones that are going to offer you the most insight. So just food for thought, and it's something I'd like to see us kind of embrace. If we're going to do it at this level, then that trickles down. So.
Perfect. The one takeaway that I would have is to make sure that liaisons or goals for the coming season, if it's something that you want to flesh out, either make sure that it's brought up here or you can share it amongst the group. So at least we got that there, so it's kind of the group consideration. Yes, I'm sorry, Diane.
I'd like to just give the departments a little more time than January 7th for those goals.
Okay.
If we could do it on the 21st along with the committee goals, especially with the holidays coming right up, if you
That
don't
makes
mind.
sense, yeah.
Do we
We're going to see the same problem.
do we want it to have it be part of the same workshop? Because
Yeah,
we did that the first year we did it.
Yeah.
We had them all actually present their goals too. What I would like to see is if they could hit a consolidated list so it doesn't actually creep out past the 1 hour format.
Right, yes.
Because we kind of got away, and
Yep.
I know I'm partially to blame for that, or majority to blame for that.
No, I think we can do
Keep me on the
both.
reservation, because I relied on Mr. Bernal to do that. So somebody needs to do that. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
So if we're going to do that on the 21st, you want to workshop that same night at 6 o'clock to do the goals?
Goals, and
Okay.
we can have the committees be a
And
part of
Dan
that.
Stockford on the 7th at 6
Yes,
p.m.
because I think they're two different things,
I
and
do,
I don't
yeah.
want to run the goals short.
Right. Okay,
I think that was huge to
21st.
move us forward. It gets us thinking of that.
Clear vision.
Okay. Finance Department reports?
No, we took that off the, we have an old
Is that off?
agenda.
Okay, I'm working off the
That's
other
going to
one.
be on next week's.
Well, can you?
The auditor is here today, yesterday and today and tomorrow.
Perfect. Perfect. So Kayla will have more.
She will have more, yes.
Perfect.
That was actually supposed to be on next week's meeting. It should
Okay.
have been on this agenda.
Can you deliver the message? The fact is, reading what she's got there, very much thank you.
Mhm.
The fact is, it was very appreciative to have our finance director first step in, give us a snapshot of where she thinks we're at the half year, and things that she can include in it from
Yep.
the timeliness of the audit. The more the better. I want her to feel like she's got value for
Yep.
starting into this. We're going to be relying on it, the budget, soon.
I know.
Thank you.
She's excited about it.
Yeah? That's the new kid approach. I love it.
That's right.
I know, I'm excited
love
that
it.
she is.
She's got moxie. See what I did with that?
Let's do. Next item, Twyla.
The Order 2019-227, Council Committee Liaisons. But you wanted to move that
Yeah, we're not ready
to
for that.
agenda. So Council Communications.
Did you have a point for discussion? No, just future discussions. Next.
Wait, Council
That's
Communications.
communications.
I had one if nobody else had it. The fact is, my audience just left. You got yours. Go.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I'm feeling slighted.
Topic?
Since the new counselors were elected recently, and since there were no candidates tonight, because we were unopposed, I felt obligated to bring up 4 goals that I had for myself.
Okay.
But I'm not going to bring them up because we're going to discuss goals for the council later. So we'll skip that. But I would like, in the sake of council communications, to just give you anybody that's listening and you guys that don't already know what my philosophy is. So I read the other day, in case you might think I take everything too seriously. I'll convince you by repeating something I read from David Treadwell. He's a contributor to the Times Record, and it goes like this. 3 old men walk into a memory clinic to get tested. The doctor asks the first man, "What's 3 times 3?" And the man answers, 286. Then he asks the second man, "What's 3 times 3?" And the second man answers, "Tuesday." Then the doc answers the third man, "What's 3 times 3?" And the man says, 9. The doc says, "Well, great. How did you get that?" He said, by subtracting Tuesday from 286, of course. That's where we're coming from. So goes the logic.
It's going to be fun, Don. It's going to be fun. Don't worry. Were you going to bring that one up?
Yes. You want to do it?
You can do it if you want.
We have an announcement from police department, if anybody hadn't seen it. Ryan McGee was promoted to lieutenant this past week.
Oh, excellent.
Very cool.
I did not want to steal the thunder associated with Mr. Moore's retirement announcement and that type of stuff, but we very much wanted to thank Ryan and congratulate him on his new position within the department. Job well deserved.
Yeah, very excited. I talked to him the other night at the Mary Main Street, and he was very humbled, the idea of being able to serve his community in different roles. So very good. I'm sure well deserved. Yep.
Anybody else got anything else from council? How about you? You've been awful quiet.
It was on purpose.
Is it? Okay.
Very reserved.
Okay. That's fine. What I would say to that is don't let your position not be heard. Let's leave it at that. Okay? I know some of us can be strong presences in that regard, but don't let anybody smother anybody else. That is not what actually we're about.
I like your approach, kind of taking it all in, and I'm sure when you're ready, you'll fire it.
It's good.
I will.
Next item, Twyler, if nobody else got anything.
Audience participation for new items.
Anybody wishing to express anything for what may have brought you out here tonight, please feel free. State your name for the general public.
My name is Gary Alley, and I live at 8 Farnsworth Street, and it's a very short dead-end street across from Mill Street. And my issue is I'd like to have the road a retard. It's pretty rough. But more than that, I just built a house there on the very end, and the plow has to dump all the snow on my property, you see. So I benefit, and the whole neighborhood benefits. But the tarred section of it ends about 20 feet from my house. So I can't really put down anything good in the driveway. He would just plow it up. As it is now, he plows it up and accumulates dirt and rocks and things right on my lawn, and I have to fix it every spring. I've talked to Randy. I think he's a foreman, or maybe
He is our PW director.
Yeah, yeah. He said he'd look into it, but you people have the authority, to go ahead with something like this. I don't expect it to be done now. It's a bad time, actually, to bring this up. But, I want it on record, that maybe in the spring, So I'd like to have the road done and extended 50 feet about to the end of my house. And, yeah, the whole neighborhood would benefit, and I would benefit. Yeah, you'd be tying on my, you'd be tarring on my personal property, but effectively, it's the town's, because all my neighbors benefit, you see. And so I'm only talking about an extension of like 50 feet. And if you could look into that, come to some kind of agreement, yes or no, but preferably yes, I'd appreciate it. Yeah. And hope to hear from you about that sometime.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you, is that for the benefit of when we get into, if nothing else, budget discussions, where that would actually fall in the paving plan?
Exactly, yep.
Thank
And
you.
if he's already reached out to Randy, I'm sure Randy will be able to offer some insight as to what his thoughts were too.
Yep.
So we can at least start to get, like you said, be ready for it budget season.
I am not in the position to be able to speak on behalf of our PW director, but one of the things that you brought in your discussion is when you mentioned paving on private land, that may be an ixnay. In that regard is the fact is we don't make a habit of actually getting into private land just for the reason of what the town inherits associated with that afterwards for liability.
Yeah, I understand that, but the other point is that the town is using it to dump their snow
Right.
on private property, so
Which is why I said I'm not in a position to speak, because we do have certain arrangements with some of those situations, and Randy would be able to speak more on that. But I just rest assured, the point that you actually have made is brought up, and we will have something to bring back.
I understand that may be an issue, but hopefully
Yep.
we can get over that.
Yep. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Roger, what brings you out?
New councilors.
Thank you. It's a
Just
good.
put a face with a name.
That's right.
Basically know them all anyway.
Right, right. And seeing nobody else, let's move on, Twyla.
There is no executive session in order to adjourn.
I make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
We're past 7-0. Stand adjourned.
Oh, before anybody runs off, I
Please sign.
did not pass these along.
You did, I passed you first. You're always going to be the first.
Right. I made it to the first one. That's the hardest one, so you're all good.
Yeah.